Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out in the Washington Post, and it's saying a share of Americans are not even having sex, and it has reached a record high. Well, you sure can't reproduce unless you are having some sex. Woo! You can blame young people for this dry spell, data shows. More than ever, Americans aren't having sex. Percentage of Americans reporting no sex, monthly sex, or sex weekly or more in the past year. Damn, no wonder why all these mass shootings are going on. And you're seeing more of them damn stories about these guys that can't get girlfriends and then they committing suicide or shooting up everything. The share of U.S. adults reporting no sex in the past year reached an all-time high in 2018, underscoring a three-decade trend line marked by an aging population and higher numbers of unattached people. But among the 23% of adults, or nearly 1 in 4, who spent the year in a celibate state, a much larger than expected number of them were 20-something men, according to the latest data from the General Social Survey. Experts who study American bedroom habits said there are a number of factors driving the great American sex drought. Age is one of them. The 60 and older demographic climbed from 18% of the population in 1996 to 26% in 2018, according to the survey. The share reporting no sex has consistently hovered around 50%. And because that age group is growing relative to everyone else, it has the net effect of reducing the overall population likelihood of having sex. But changes to the other end of the age spectrum may be playing an even bigger role. The portion of Americans 18 to 29 reporting no sex in the past year more than doubled between 2008 and 2018 to 23%. So you can see where it was in 89, 90, and all the way up a 10-year span. Lack of sex is driven mainly by the young. That sure wasn't the case when I was young. Woo, man. Jean Trenge, a professor of psychology at the San Diego State University and author of iGen, Why Today's Super Connected Kids Are Growing Up Less Rebellious and More Tolerant, Less Happy, and Completely Unprepared for Adulthood, said in an interview that growing sexlessness among America's 20-something is primarily attributable to partnering up later in life. You know, y'all, I know they didn't throw this in, but drugs play a huge role. You know, I'm serious. It plays a huge role in why some of these young people are not doing anything with their lives. Usually people strung out there, they're not going out on too many dates. There are more people in their 20s who don't have a live-in partner, she said. So under those circumstances, I think less sex is going to happen. Americans in their 30s, 40s, and beyond, meanwhile, are much more likely to be married than those in their 20s. These age groups are now more likely to have sex in a given year than their younger peers. The data also shows a significant gender divide among 20-somethings. Young men driving the decline in sex, share of men and women between ages 18 and 30 reporting no sex in the past year. So you see 28% of the men um, and 18% of the women. Wow. For most of the past 3 decades, 20 something men and women reported similar rates of sexlessness. Boy, I can't even say that. Woo, that's painful. But that has changed in recent years. Since 2008, the share of young men um, younger than 30 reporting no sex has nearly tripled to 28%. Now, you remember those? I did a video on a guy that was planning out a mass shooting, but got caught, and he was upset because he didn't have a girlfriend and never had sex before. And I think he was like 27 years old. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. That's a much steeper increase in the 8% point increase reported among their female peers. There are several potential expectations for this, Twin said. Labor force participation among young men has fallen, and that was due to opioids, y'all. They can't get jobs because they can't pass a drug test, particularly in the aftermath of the last recession. Researchers also see a connection between labor force participation and stable relationships, she said. The survey showed, for instance, that 54% of unemployed Americans didn't have a steady romantic partner, compared with 32% among the employed. Damn, the millennials don't have no game. They don't have no game. Young men also are more likely to be living with their parents than young women. In 2014, for instance, 35% of men 18 to 34 were living with their parent, at their parents' home. Wow. 35%. I didn't realize it was that high, compared with 29% of women in that age group. At the risk of stating the obvious, when you're living at home, it's probably harder to bring sexual partners into your bedroom, Twin said. One final factor that may be affecting Americans' sexual habits at all ages is technology. There are a lot of things to do at 10 o'clock at night now that there were 20, now than 20 years ago. Yeah, she's probably right about that. Streaming videos, social media, game consoles, everything else. That may speak to the drop off among the sexually active. The share of people who are having relations once a week or more now sits at 39%, compared with 51% in 1996. Wow. Y'all better watch out. This means more mass shooters. All that pent up sexual frustration got to come out one way or another. And you know how these folks are. It'll come out in the barrel of a gun. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely crazy. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.